Hey everyone, it's Cambam again. This is my second cast. Uh, Feeling a little bit more comfortable with the whole casting procedure, so hopefully this one will go a little bit better. This second game is again me, Cambam, the light pink Zerg, versus Scaryman, my other friend and practice partner. He also plays Protoss as the orange Protoss. He actually hasn't been playing recently over the past 2 or 3 weeks because he's been really busy with school. So he's a little rusty, and he doesn't play too well this game. So let's try and cut him some slack. I don't really want to focus on his gameplay. I want to focus more on mine. And of course, I don't play perfectly, but I do think I do some things well this game, and I really want to focus more on analysis this cast and kind of like the dynamics of who's ahead and who's behind and why. And so, just to start off, we can talk about Blistering Sands. I think generally this map is considered one of the few Zerg favored maps, and I really think it's mainly because Protoss and Terran don't like the back rocks. They are spoiled, and they're used to having a choke that they can wall off and be super safe, and these rocks make them feel very scared. And it's not a big deal for Zerg. Oh, actually, I want to mention this. I just missed getting blocked by his probe, so that's pretty cool. I'm patrolling at the bottom of the ramp, make sure he doesn't cannon me in. But yeah, I think the rocks aren't that big a deal for Zerg because we're used to being extra vulnerable since we fast expand every game. So rocks aren't a big deal. And also, another reason that makes it Zerg favored is that the rush distances are very long. They're deceptively long. And of course, Zerg loves long rush distances because that gives us time to scout the incoming attack, delay an army for as long as possible, get as many drones as we can, and then just build up a giant army at the last second. So I would say this is definitely a Zerg favored map. Right now I did go hatch first. I believe it's 14 hatch, 15 pool. It's a very strong economic opening if you know you're not going to attack. And of course, here's my signature patrol drone, which I talked about last game. Like I said, I just set it up and he goes to town all over the base. And what I like about this is that it kind of forces the Protoss opponent to get an early unit. Like if he wanted to be greedy and just not build any units, he either gets punished by the fact that I get to scout his base that much longer, or he's punished in that he has to build an early unit that he didn't want to, and is 100 or 125 minerals behind where he wanted to be. So I'm just getting full reign of what he's doing, and it looks like he is doing a 4-gate push so far, at least some type of 2 or 3 gate expand or 4-gate push. And he kills it with my stalker. I am getting ready for 4-gate because that's the most likely thing. I got 4 Zerglings out just to scout around, get map presence, get the Zelnaga towers. He's coming over with a stalker, which is good. I like that. If he's careful with it, he can force me to make more units. He can be careful and micro it away, not take too much hull damage, get all the shields back. That's good. Throwing down a spine crawler in case he is going to do something like a 2-stalker zealot push or something, some early aggression. I think a spine crawler really shuts that down the cheapest. Just 1 drone, 1 larva, 100 minerals, plus 50 for the drone. But it doesn't look like he's doing that. There are the 3rd and 4th warp gates. And actually, what we're going to see him do, I'm throwing down a Roach Warren because I'm going for a Ling Roach 4-gate defense army, plus a spine crawler or 2. And what we're actually going to see him do is fake a 4-gate push. You see he only has 4 units right now. He is gearing up with the pylon, but he is trying to fake me out into building a bunch of units and then backing off and expanding. But unfortunately, because he hasn't tried this build out very often, this may be the first time he's ever done it, it's not very refined, and like I said, he hasn't played in a while. so it's he's a little rusty. So he doesn't perform very well, and that's the beginning of his problems that set him behind in this game. And what we're going to see is one thing I don't like is he got a 5th gate for a 5 gate fake, and I think that was a bad idea because he doesn't use it. Sets him back 150 minerals, and he's just now starting his Nexus. Could have started a little earlier if he had only gotten 4 gates. But now I have scouted, because of this Overlord, I've scouted the Nexus going down, and you'll see I build 8 drones immediately. And I'm like, alright, his attack isn't coming, or it's going to be much weaker. And I immediately move out and look for his proxy pylon, which I'm pretty sure he threw down, and of course it's right there. Set him back 8 food. That's very good. Now I actually have a bigger army than him, which is unfortunate because that means he spent more on income. He was ahead a second ago, but I am super powering drones right now. Kind of mess up right here and send my entire army to the Xel'Naga instead of one circling. But what I'm thinking is I want to like counterattack him in case he has less units in this, but he doesn't. And so I'm going to break down his rocks, but he's already got a stalker there. So I say, F it, I'll go break the rocks down at my expansion. And because I have this nice sizable army, it's not going to take as long as it usually does if you only have like 6 or 8 links. So that's going to allow me to get a very fast 3rd base, which is good. I've gotten the lair. I'm throwing down 2 evolution shapers and morphing this guy to an overseer and getting Overlord speed so I can scout. I'm assuming, you know, I want that scout so I can see if he's going to be going Robotech or Stargate Tech or just, you know, strong 7 or 8 gate push or something. Because I was forced to build these Lings and Roaches, usually the only 2 builds Zergs do in the mid game versus Protoss are Roach Hydra or Ling Muta. So since I already had Ling Roach, I thought I'd just add on Hydra for a Ling Roach Hydra army. And then what I really need to find out is if he's going Colossi or Immortal or Stargate. If he's going Stargate, I'm in a pretty good position because Hydra just, you know, dominate any air, so I'll be fine. If he's going Colossi or Robo, I need to know if he's going mainly Immortals or mainly Colossi, because that dictates how much Roach and Hydra I get and whether or not I need Aspire for Corruptors or Mutalisks. But now I am sending this in and contaminating. I waited until I had enough energy for contaminate, and I actually see a robotics bay and a second robotics facility going down, so I know he is going heavy Colossi. And a little interesting thing about contaminate that's useful to note is that if someone is going Colossi, and you see them making Colossi out of a robotics facility and upgrading the range at the robotics bay, it's actually better to contaminate the robotics facility and stop the Colossus production. Because think of this, if he's building 2 Colossi and then going to push you, if you slow down the research, he could just, you know, while it's frozen, walk the 2 Colossi over to your base during that time, and then it'll, as soon as it finishes, he's ready to attack. If you stop the Colossi, the range upgrade will finish, but he'll only have 1 Colossi, and he won't feel comfortable running over to kill your base. He'll have to wait that extra 30 seconds for the Colossi to pop out. So that's just something I've thought of when making your contaminate decisions. And oh, actually, I'm going to back up because it's kind of important. We missed this. He decides to preemptively move out. He's got some observers around, so I'm not sure why he does this, but he has not a very big army, and I see it because of the creep, and I notice that's not a very scary army, and I immediately run and pounce on it. Just punish that venturing out into the middle of creep land. Extra important that it was on creep because, you know, Zerg units are just that much faster on creep. So that was another blunder on his part. And it brought him behind in the army count a little bit. Meanwhile, another thing I wanted to point out is he kind of doesn't power probes as hard as he should have. I don't think he makes more than 45 for the rest of the game. So that's another thing he could have improved. So you want to get at least 52 harvesters. That's pretty good saturation for 2 base. Meanwhile, I forgot to mention or show this, but I did throw down my Spire as soon as I scouted the robotics bay, and I'm going to be pumping out Corruptors. I did see he was building Immortals, so I'm kind of keeping my Roach count real low so that they'll be ineffective, but I really do like that he's going Immortals, because both him and ATC Nair rarely go Immortals, and one of my favorite playstyles is to mass almost entirely Roaches and just throw in a few Hydras for good measure, and they usually let me and don't build Immortals, and so my Roaches are able to just kill all their gateway units and their Colossi uncontested. And so the fact that he's getting so many Immortals, I'm going to pause it for a second, it forces me not to get Roaches. And while he may feel that it was pointless to get these Immortal, it actually isn't, because it was keeping me from massing Roaches and, you know, destroying his army with Imba Roaches for range. So that was a good move from him. I like that. I'd like to see that more. Because of all the Immortals, I'm focusing more on Lings and Hydra, and of course the Corruptor. My thoughts are that if I can get enough Corruptors to kill the Colossi really fast, I can mass Hydras and not be scared that they're going to die to lots of Colossi. Meanwhile, he's moving out again, a little dangerous, especially since he doesn't have an observer over my army. But I like that he killed the Ling and backed off. I like to see a probe or a zealot at the Zelnaga tower just so he had more map control. But he's waiting for his Colossi. Looks like they're